Hey family, Dad here. Hope you're having a great day. On this video, I just wanted to talk about my son is costing me an additional $18,000 next year. So a few weeks ago, I FaceTimed my son. He told me that after speaking with his college advisor, that he needs to take 2 summer classes currently this summer, and then 22 credits in the fall in order to graduate in 2.5 years. Now, I've shared previously that my son, when he first enrolled into college, after speaking with his advisor, that he should be on target to graduate in 2.5 years. As long as he followed the outline, the classes he needed to take each semester that him and his advisor talked about, then he should be on track to graduate in 2.5 years. So fast forward 2 years later, after finishing his second year at the university, he realized he made a mistake after speaking with his advisor a couple weeks ago. So he dropped a class. In that class, let's just say class A, was a prerequisite to get into class B, C, and D. Without class A, he could not get into any classes B, C, or D, so thus that backs things up a little bit. Now, after my son realized this, he kind of did a fast path on graduating within 2.5 years. So he was on target to graduate at the end of this year, December. I guess the track would be, if he wanted to still do that he would take 2 classes this summer, and then he would take 22 credits in the fall in order to graduate. Now, I don't know about you. I've never taken 22 credits in one semester. I'm sure it's doable. But the reality is, he also plays football. Taking 22 credits and then playing football as well is going to be a huge lift. Plus, also the fact is that he wants to get into grad school. He wants to major in kinesiology, and then he's going to take graduate studies in kinesiology. And part of those prerequisites are you need to get a 3.0 minimum GPA to get into grad school. Now, realistically, the minimum is 3.0. So if he tries to apply to grad school with a minimum of a 3.0, more than likely he won't even get in. So after he presented me with this, I asked him exactly what I just thought about. It's just, how are you going to do this in the final semester, taking 22 credits, playing football, and trying to get better than a 3.0 GPA. And of course, there are dead silence crickets. He's taken 14, 15 credits a semester and just struggled. He is getting better. The first year was always it was a tough adjustment, but the second year was really good. And I'm sure the third year will be even better. But to take 22 credits in one semester is a disaster waiting to happen. So during this call, after the smoke cleared, after I kind of ripped into my son about that, he clearly understood that he made a mistake, that he shouldn't have dropped Class A. Once he dropped Class A again, he couldn't take Class B, C, or D because it was a prerequisite. And the reality is he needs solid grades. Doesn't need to cram 22 credits in the last semester of school. So what I did was told him that you need to take another semester. Take another semester to lessen the load in the fall. It'll be a little easier in your last semester of university. And lessen the load, you can get better grades. When you get better grades, you have a better chance of getting into grad school, the school that you want to get into. Now, after talking about that, the one thing I asked my son was, go back to your advisor, outline the plan that we just talked about, that you're going to stay another semester, so you'll graduate in May of 2026. Tell me what the cost is going to be for that final semester. So after my son speaking with his advisor, they did the math, and it will roughly cost about an additional $18,000 for that last semester of school. The past 2 years that he's been in school, it's cost me about $25,000 a semester. It's going to be a little less because he's going to only take 8 credits in the spring, but still it's $18,000. And for me, that's a hard pill to swallow. I wasn't planning on spending an additional dollar for my kid's college, for my son's college, for his bachelor's degree. So this was definitely a curveball. But also looking at the long-term viability. I understand that how passionate my son is in graduating with his kinesiology degree and going to grad school. And with that, you need to get very good grades. And I understand that. And for me, that's important. So I just want to make sure that my son has the best plan and doesn't need to cram everything all in one semester. And at the end of the day, it just makes sense. So he's going to take another additional semester. It's going to cost me $18,000, but he'll still graduate in 3 years. At the beginning, when he enrolled in this school, in this university down in Oregon, the agreement was that he would graduate in 3 years. So he still made up that promise. But he had an aggressive plan of graduating in 2.5 years, which got me excited, and it would save me money. But in the end of it, it just made sense for him to stay an extra semester. And obviously this was a mistake on my son's part. He understands that he needs to be better at kind of forecasting, planning, going ahead. And I don't think he really understood the huge issue, which was the cost. And at the end of the day, we talked about it, and now he understands. But he also understands as well is that if he's going to go to grad school, which is his number one goal, is that he will have to pay a good chunk of that out of his pocket as well. So tell me your thoughts. Do you have a son or a child that's staying in school, in university, longer than expected, and it's costing you a little bit more money? Comment, like, subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it. So that's all I got. I'll see you all at the next video.